If you're going to get anywhere in life, if you're going to get what you want, if you're going to live your legend, you're going to have to learn to do one thing. You're going to have to learn to communicate. You're going to have to learn to talk. We do a lot of talking, we do a lot of sharing, we do a lot of live videos here to help teach you to communicate. Communication is essential. And it's really simple when you're not hiding, when you're not trying to say one thing but then really mean something else, right? Communication is a powerful tool, and it's one of the most simple tools that exist. Unfortunately, communication is also a risk. Communication puts you at risk, right? Socially, you might say some thing. We've all had that experience where we said something and we regretted it. So communication being a risk, your ego, your mind gets all up in your communication to protect you from social harm and a whole lot of other things. So it's something that we've got to master. Now, luckily, there's something called a communications degree. That's right, 22 Jet Zulu North. This is a communications major. This is what he learned in college. Actually, he's an incredible communicator, right? But his words inside of being a football coach are meant not to communicate, but to manipulate. Those words are meant to manipulate. They do communicate to the people who understand them, but they manipulate everyone else into thinking one thing or another, right? It's a manipulation of the situation. They don't want people to know what they're saying, so they manipulate the situation so no one can really understand what they're saying. No one can really decipher it. Now, I wish this wasn't true, but this is how a lot of your communication and my communication is as well. We manipulate the situation. So let's get really clear, right? Manipulation. Manipulate. What does this mean? So, if you speak French like I do, oui, je parle français, très très bien, merci. Okay, if you speak French like I do, then you understand the word main is the word for hand. Manipulate, the root of manipulate is your hand. It's when you purposefully take your hand and change something or move it or turn it. In the physical world and then in communication, it's the same thing. When we manipulate, we're trying to control someone by what information we do or don't give them, or how we present that information. Obviously, on a football team, we're manipulating everyone so they have no idea what we're saying, but we know what we're saying and we can do something they don't know. Sadly, this also describes your communication with your significant other way too many times. This describes your communication with your kids way too many times. You manipulate your kids. Let me ask you this. Do they believe in Santa Claus? Did they ever? Manipulation. And you think, yeah, but it's Santa Claus. It's for a good cause. And listen, I'm not telling you to tell your kids about Santa Claus so you can stop manipulating. I'm just proving to you that you're part of this. We all do it. It is very fundamental or essential in human nature. We do this all the time. Again, don't go tell all your kids just because you watch this training, but please understand, you do manipulate all the time. But manipulation cannot get you what you want because you're hiding, because you're lying. There is no integrity in manipulation. It is based on a lie. You can even preface it. Hey, I don't know if this is going to hurt your feelings, but here's how I'm seeing it. Here's how I'm thinking. I don't know if I'm right. Okay? Notice how in communication your ego gets involved and you go right to right and wrong. This will get you burned every single time. I'm going to do the right thing. Oh man, I'm doing this wrong. You're already burned. Playing the right and wrong game, you've lost before we even started. Communicate, which is just say what you're feeling. Let me tell you a way I used to manipulate. I didn't even realize I did it. I would come home, Whitney would do something, or my kids would do something, and it would hurt my feelings. I would be hurt. Maybe I came home from a trip and no one was excited I was home. It was just like, hey, Dad, I've been gone for 7 days. Hey, Dad. And that hurt because, me, I'm supposed to get a hero's welcome every time I walk in the door. Like, I'm gone for an hour, there should be a banner up, right? As ridiculous as that is, that's what my ego wants. That's what my mind wants, right? So I would get hurt, but I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't communicate that hurt. I would just kind of swallow it, just put it away. I would manipulate them because I would say, hey, it's good, it's fine. They didn't mean it. But once I manipulated them, I manipulated myself. I pretended like it wasn't there, and then later that day, they would do it again. They would do something similar, and I would go off, get angry, show my anger. What is anger? Anger is the energy of change. Anger is an energy of change. Why did I want to change something? Because it had already happened 2-3 times. Here's the problem, though. I manipulated everyone the first, second, third time, so they didn't even know what happened. I just brushed it off. I didn't communicate, I manipulated. Now they're seeing anger. They don't know where it's from because I'm the one who manipulated. They don't know. I might as well have just said Jet 22 North Zulu. They have no idea what's happening. But then they understand the angry, right? And I had a great counselor one time who said, listen, I think what's happening is you're feeling hurt at times and you don't express it. And then when you can't handle it anymore, it comes out as anger. But all your wife and kids are seeing is anger. They're not ever seeing the hurt. Maybe the next time you're going to be angry with them, instead of showing them the anger, show them the hurt that caused the anger. This changed my entire family. Being able to say, hey, it hurts me when I'm gone for a week and no one cares that I'm home. It hurts me. Even having the conversation, I've literally had the conversation with my wife. They're like, there's this part of me that just wants a banner up every time I walk in the door. We laugh about it, but that's true. That's being vulnerable. That's playing cards on the table, showing the hurt instead of the anger, which is the part of me that wants to change the hurt, going back to the root, ending the manipulation. Manipulation usually takes a few forms: omission, things we just don't say, or deflection, things that we dodge through. Right? Stop manipulating, start communicating. What's wrong with the actual thing? If you've been on calls with me for any amount of time, you hear me say something. Hey, have you ever, people will get on my call and they're like, you know what? I just think, I can't believe that my husband, and I feel like that isn't fair because And the thing I'll say most often is, have you ever told him that in those words? And almost 100% of the time, the answer is no. Well, why don't you? Why don't you just say exactly that? What if you put your cards on the table, right? Now your ego, your mind is going to tell you that you could get hurt. That's why not. You could lose social status. You could be exposed. There could be pain that comes, right? But isn't there already pain? Isn't there already pain in having to hide who you are? The greatest secret to communication is just saying what you really feel and what you really think at any given time, when you really feel it and when you really think it. Just giving the truth of who you are, even when, quote unquote, it's wrong. Even when you're off base, because guess what? That's who you are. And sometimes you're, quote unquote, wrong. Sometimes you're off base. Sometimes I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And as long as I'll own that, there's no danger in it. I can even say that up front to people. Hey man, I might be way off base here. But I'd like to communicate what I'm really thinking, what I'm really feeling. Because when we manipulate, everyone around us is interacting with someone who's pretending. So they're trying to build with us, but it's all pretend. They're building a pretend thing. We aren't really that person. We've got to step away from the manipulation, step into communication. Open, honest communication, even when it puts us at risk, especially when it puts us at risk. I am not saying, be very clear, I am not saying that you have to tell all things to all people. That shady guy walks up to you and asks you for your PIN number right before he's going to hit you on the head, with something and take your purse. You don't have to say everything to everybody, but you can communicate truly. Hey, can I have your PIN number? I'm not going to tell you that. It's okay to say that. That's a clear, open communication that's fully truthful. I'm not telling you that. I'm not talking about that with you. I don't want to talk about that. I'm not sure I can handle talking about that. There are parts of this I don't want to tell you, and I don't think I can handle telling you just part of it, so I'm not talking about that. There you go, communication. It's not manipulation. I'm still saying no. Hey, I'm not going to tell you that. Why? I'm not going to tell you that. Yeah, but don't you think why? I'm not going to tell you that. Just repeat yourself. Where in your life are you using manipulation instead of communication? Some of that might be happening and you don't even know it's happening. You may have developed codes. You may have developed shorthand with some people, and there are new people in the group who don't understand them, and you're manipulating the hell out of them. You want to live your legend, you're going to have to learn to communicate clearly and often and in full integrity. Let's get to work.